Good morning. My name is Bita Sadanandan, and today is 25th of March 2026, and the time is 6:33 a.m. The area of body we will be maintaining health of by the Nirbeeja Yoga method is what I call arm calves. Now, if we were four-limbed creatures, yeah, just like our legs have calves, the lower portion of our legs have calves. Our arms, similarly, the lower portion of our arms, the upper portion we've already covered, the lower portion of our arms has calves, like the thicker portion of the lower portion, okay, the region closer to the elbows. And then following from there, if our hands were legs, then the region closer to the wrist would be the Achilles region. Yeah, where there is the Achilles tendon. And then the ankles would be the wrists. Yeah, corresponding. And then our palms would be the soles of our feet. Yeah. So to remember that arms and legs both are equally important, and I didn't know what to call these lower arm structures, so I have named them according to the legs. So we are not forgetting the importance of the arms as legs, as we would have been animals, and we are humans, and how we relate to our body may not be as optimal as it needs to be. Like animals, well, we disregard animals, and then we think ourselves to be greater, superior, when we don't know how to be humane. How superior are we? So I've named them according to animal body parts, kind of. If we were animals, how we would be named, kind of. And then it's a Nirbeeja Yoga method. So our meanings, how we relate to different creatures. Um, the Upanishads also talk about our body in many interesting ways, which a lot of people haven't read and so don't know. All right, the arm calves, which is the thicker portion of the lower arms closer to the elbows. Now, by the Nirbeeja Yoga method, um, our relationship with our lower arms um, requires regular maintenance because what our arms do, lower arms particularly, is not as much appreciated in when it comes to maintenance of the lower arms. So people have, say, carpal tunnel syndromes, which is from using the arms, wrist, and this region, lower portion of the arms, um, with the computers so much more that sometimes they have carpal tunnel syndrome or difficulty with rotating their wrists because their wrists are so jammed, not necessarily because of carpal tunnel, but because the bones and muscles and different structures are not, I can't say breathing well. They just don't have the space. The relationship between these different structures are not as well as they need to be because people haven't been taking the time to take care of them. They go to sleep, and then how's maybe being taken care of regularly depending on who's been watching them. If nobody's watching them, will they take care of their houses, their rooms as well as they need to? That's a question. Because are we doing things because we want to do things or because somebody else is watching? Yeah, that's a question. So similarly is our relationship with our body. We brush our teeth, have a bath. Those who brush their teeth, those who have their bath have. And then there is the life we maintain, the activities we do. Sometimes when we don't take care of our body the way we need to, we are functioning like instruments. There is the body, and then there is these activities to do, and then the do those different activities. Now, um, and so part of the machinery, or machine body as a machine, part of the machinery. Now, in this method of healthcare, we are appreciating the body in as more than just a mechanical structure. And so when the subject and object, or the Sula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira, is more functioning together, then the life sentence, when subject object agreement is there, then the sentence is complete. And how is it complete? Is it in a way that uh, full stop and that's it, life ends? Or is it in a way that, that sentence is complete because that belief system is as it needs to be? And so then the next step. So that's also how a story forms. If the sentence is made up of all kinds of, oh my God, it's all going to end, then that's going to be a sad story. I don't know if you're going to read that book. Or you can read. But sometimes that's maybe perhaps why we don't read our own body like a book, because it's a lot of these oh my god so sad stories, sentences, beliefs, or this is how life is, or this is how we are supposed to be living. Well, and then we write, those who write, yeah, nowadays we type, those who type. So I'm wondering if this is the reason why we don't write as much or don't type as much, except maybe to do your job, you write some code, send some emails, do the mechanical, do the things that has to have you earn a living. But we don't talk about your life stories, because once you start, your long gisa pita kahanias come out. Yeah. And you say it's not gisa pita kahania, it's our lived experience. How can you talk about that? And then you start your whining. Yeah, like this only. Yeah. So, Nirbeeja Yoga is a way to improve that Gisa Pita Kahanya. Yeah, and you have 7 substrates by which you 7 generations by which you write these stories. And oh my God, you have 7 generations of stories. Boy, yeah, all right. So I did a little bit of work in actually maintaining my mediastinum. The diaphragm. Yesterday I was working on the diaphragm. Diaphragm is related to liver, is related with heart. So I was slowly taking care of all these 3 siblings. So it helps to maintain your body composition so that the influence from the environment or what happened between different activities, how is this activity related to the next activity? So my story gets fine enough. Yeah, that's like when you wash your fabric, they're clean enough. Or when you clean your stories, your subject object agreement is more a happy story. Otherwise, you're having doomsday thought lines. You, OIT. Now, the arm calves. I invite you to bring your attention to the region of your elbows, and then from the left and right sides of your elbows, and then from your elbows to bring your attention to the left and right sides of the slightly thicker portion of your forearms, yeah, or the lower arms, or the front portion of the front half in front of your elbows, the front portion of your arms that is in front of your elbows, okay? So the thick portion of your forearms. So that's forearms and upper arms, forearms. Now, what would also help the matter of what's happening in the arm calves is you sitting in a chair and in such a manner that your spine is relaxed in the seat you're sitting. That is, your pelvis is supporting your upper body in a manner that the front, you're not drawn towards the front or the screen that you may be watching or listening to this from. If your body is tending to bend forward, then your upper body is not supported by your pelvis. You may be sitting at the edge of your chair, you're sitting deep in your chair, your upper body's relationship with your pelvis is not as well as it needs to be. So, I invite you to lean back against the back of the chair and pay attention to the region of your chest and notice how is the movement of your chest as you're breathing. If there tends to be a tipping forward towards the front, or your front portion of your chest is more important than the back portion of your chest, then your upper body is not as supported as it needs to be in maintaining upright. You may be tending to move forward. And For a lot of people, it's called the dorsal and ventral vagal system. The vagus nerve helps in rest and digestion. So the front part, the vagus nerve through the front of the body may be more activated, not sufficiently rested, or people in the morning wake up and start doing yoga, and well, their version of breath practices, or um, there's also these third eye practices, and that may be triggering the dorsal, hmm, okay, the front vagal system, yeah, such that your heart, your lungs, your solar plexus, they are all active, and the front is more important than the back, which means you're tending to bend forward than back because your nervous system is so much active. You continue this way, you could get a heart attack. Okay? So pay attention to the rhythmic movement of your chest, the natural movement of your chest as you're breathing, for which you would need to pay attention to warmth and softness in the tissues of your chest, which will then help you recognize the movement of your chest in the front of your heart, yeah, versus the back. So your heart can be the front and the back, or the chest in the front and the back can be more in a balanced awareness. And then with this awareness, how your arms are placed, the left and right sides, would be so much more different, so much more better than if you weren't paying attention to this. And why I say this is your arm calves would be so much more relaxed in this posture with the awareness of your chest and the balanced awareness between the front and back. Okay, you're not balancing the awareness. You are aware of the front and the back, and you're noticing that you tend to have a predominance of, the front portion, front is more important than the back. That may be what's happening. The front may be more active than the back. And so you're tending to bend forward, aging, as you age, you tend to bend. So that's because this vagal nerve difference. And there are people also doing so much of this third eye practices. Um, you think, oh, it is so important, so important. Well, it's affecting, well, you don't know how it's affecting your health. Yeah, third eye is, you don't know where the third eye is. People call it the third eye, and then you are saying, yes, that is a third eye, because, there's a lot of reference. You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. Okay, excuse the expression. The ass is administrative statistical system. You don't know your body, the internal of your body from your externals from the externals. Yeah, you don't know how you are related with the whole tree of life. So you have read some book, somebody said something, and then you take it, and then that becomes your how to maintain your health. So uh, your health gets affected, and you keep seeking liberation from life, and you may be in denial of that. But liberation is also being able to be well and comfortable in your body and doing the work that it takes to live in life in the multiverse, because that's why human bodies are designed for. Now, if your posture is well enough, well, I have the health enough to actually say that, which is really good when you take care of your um, heart and diaphragm and liver and, well, different departments. Today I'm taking care of my arm calves because I need the arm calves power. Yeah. So I have the whole day to take care of the arm calves. How good is that? Now, what am I doing is I'm bringing my attention to my arm calves while also being aware of my chest and the rhythmic movement of my chest while I'm paying attention to warmth and softness. Okay, the warmth and softness makes it easier for me to pay attention to the movements in my chest, which is the expansion and contraction of lungs, the movement of the heart, um, a relationship with the thymus. So there's a marriage between the heart and lungs. When they are functioning well enough, when the rhythms are coordinated, your heart is getting well supplied, your lungs are getting well supplied, and they are working together. And then there are so many tubes going from your heart to your head and to the rest of your body. Your whole body functions really well. And then with that awareness, when you're paying attention to um, the arms are then complements, supplements, yeah, to enable you to do your work. So there is this saying in Malayalam that mother watches for is a baby, kai valarno, kaala valarno, no noki nikka. So people sometimes function like, there is this head, neck, the shoulder girdle, the rib cage, the spine, and pelvis. So alive body. And then they may or may not be related with their arms, or uh, functioning like a person who's also aware of why be alive. So kai and kala is also, well, kai is also time, ka as in uh, time, ka ka is space. Malayalam is a very interesting language. So ka and I, as in stand up the way you need to be. So ka and I, like I as in English little I. And kala is ka ka. So alpa prana mahaprana. Yeah. Whether or not you have limbs, there is kai and kala, because there is ka time, and then there is I, your ability to stand up like a little human, how you're supposed to. And then kala is ka and ka. So that's like you and your complementary partner, nature and nurture. Ah, alpa prana, mahaprana, your lower breath and your higher breath, your hinayana and mahayana. Yeah, in Buddhist terminology, so to speak. Alpa prana, mahaprana. So your primary respiration and secondary respiration. When you're in your mother's womb, you're functioning by primary respiration and alive enough to be born, and then have a body, and then you're born. And then you have your lungs. Yeah. If your relationship with your heart and lung, your heart has been functioning while in the mother's womb too. And when you come out, your lungs start functioning. So if the relationship between your heart and lungs, you know, primary respiration, secondary respiration is not well enough, then your marriage with being in this side of life, is not as good as it needs to be, not as healthy as it needs to be. And you keep seeking liberation from life, like wanting to go back to like when you were in your mother's womb. That's not what you're born for. You're born to be alive here. Yeah, not kids don't go back to the mother's womb. Yeah. You're not supposed to go back to where you came from. You're supposed to move forward and make things better. That's why you're on this side of life. And you keep seeking liberation from life because your heart and lungs are not in sync as well as they need to. And then you have hands. So, ka, ka. Yeah. Time. There's also the clock to notify time, but your body is also functioning by body clocks. And then there is a primary respiration, secondary respiration. So, ka, l. So la is also like Muladhara. Lam, I think, is one of the sounds I think is related with Muladhara or somewhere around there. I will look it up. But it's a very essential sound. Lam is a very essential sound. And then L, as in um, just a smallest unit of being alive. Yeah, all of these big constructs are there. And what's the basic unit of being alive? Like a, and then you have the entire sound system. Like the first sound that emerged when you when you open your mouth and just make any sound, it's going to be some version of a. And then you have many consonants and combinations and words and all kinds of sounds and make a language system. So l as in it's not just l. Okay, we're saying l. Um, that's a bit like lu, but it's a finer version. L as in your tongue goes a little flat, like left and right balanced. If it's not balanced, then your life gets a little imbalanced. Yeah, because the left wing and right wing is not functioning as well as, and you have two sides to your body. So there's something in the pronunciation, you see. So your ka, so your primary respiration, secondary respiration, basic unit of life, and then balance between left and right sides. So whether or not you have limbs, nature has been watching for kai valarno, kal valarno. Valaria is growth. Yeah, or are you functioning by this, and then you don't even know what you have from having a body that's human, and then the package not opened, and you're back. What in the world did you do with the life you have? Yeah, so you're having a little moment, enlightenment here. And what in the world you're born with, and all this time you've been living with. So where have I been all this time? I've been here only. You have not been listening. Yeah. Life has always been talking. It's about who's been listening. Yeah. It is not time for my school to start. Okay. For me to introduce you to a book of life, which is your own body. Yeah. You are born with this book. So from birth, you have this textbook. But now now the teaching is beginning. Yeah, for you to get a little more familiar with several details. This one textbook is not going out of syllabus. Yeah, lots of learning from baby class to we got PhD to lots and lots of work. Same textbook. You're going to keep reading it. You get so many layers. It's like a classic. Yeah, a classic book, novel. We're going to be reading it at one time. You would read one version of the story. And then you would become a kind of person from reading that book. And then after some months, years, again, when you read the same book, you will read another version of the story. Same text, same words and sentences, but how you understand the matter would be different. So your body is like that classic textbook. Now, what you're able to see over time, you will see other details. Yeah. So you are going through movies, doing your work, eating food, the time, morning to afternoon to evening, all kinds of changes. Your textbook, according to what you pay attention to that and how you maintain health, the content is getting updated. It's like software getting updated. And also hardware, actually. It's called Sula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira. So we're going to be studying this textbook for some time. Yeah. And yeah, authorized. I'm expected to teach this. Yeah, I'm like University Grant Commission. In the sense, the universe, university. So Almighty Dotting's universe. Yeah. And from there, ITI, information technology, why? Universe with information technology and why the technology is there in existence. Dot University Grant Commission. So there is a permission since how many years this is. There's a grant, but then I've also been trying to teach, but then there needs to be a like the Buddha also enlightened at some point, but then has to write in leaves or Chinese whisper concerns. One person is said, and 10 people down the line they have another understanding of the same text of how what was taught. So communication challenges. So internet formed. Internet has been there since when I have been doing this work, but a sustainable course development process wasn't available. Then I joined the ILH community, Internet Lifestyle Hub, Mr. Siddharth Rajshekar. So there's this format. Rome was not built in a day. I have to put my content in a way that then can communicate stably, uniformly, so that I'm communicating and there is no Chinese whisper challenges. So you log in, you learn, and then little details, you are getting updated with new information about, well, this textbook. Okay, this book, human body. So you will be, but in a way that you will understand your body. I will understand mine. Yeah, but it keeps getting updated. It's a it's not just about the human body. The human body didn't just form overnight. So you're going to cover earth, water, fire, air, spirit, space, microbes, plants, animals, humans, and then cycles of life. And um, it's called the ray of creation, but that's there. And then consciousness, well, four levels of it: consciousness, conscious, subconscious, unconscious, supraconscious. There is also breathe, heal, love, live. Yeah. There's also conscience, um, which is like onion layers. Yeah. The Jain, they've been saying drop the onion. Well, I found that adding just one onion into your dish makes a huge difference in the taste of it. Oh my goodness. There's this movie Shrek in which they're talking about, I'm like an onion, layers. It's not smelly, it's just layers. I discovered that's also called conscience. Conscience is under the ground. Yeah. A lot of people don't know conscience. So I'm talking about stuff that you don't know about like, from under the ground. Yeah. Otherwise, you even call it as Patala. So this is Saraswati gone to Patala, and then now I'm back. Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. So it's always a breakfast. It's always a good morning. Yeah. Now, breakfast, otherwise a long fasting and fasting and fasting to break the fast. Dawn, um, sunrise, break the um, darkness. Yeah. It's also called enlightenment. New day. No. Arms, arm calves. Yeah. By the way, calves is having a Sandhi Samas in English. There is calf, and when it becomes two calves, and you don't say calves, you say calves. Like in Kannada or in Hindi, there is a Sandhi Samas. People haven't been studying the Sandhi Samas in English because I don't think they knew there is this Sandhi Samas to be studied about English. Linguists may be knowing in terms of, I don't know if they're calling it a Sandhi Samas. But the thing is, there's vowels, consonants, and combinations. The combinations in Kannada or Hindi, we call them as the Sandhi Samas on how combinations happen. So that study may not be as much available. So you're wondering why is English being spelled like that? There is these combinations, grammar. So calves. It reminds us also about we don't know, we haven't really studied the details of English and wondering why those spellings are there. Calf and calves with a V. Other details too. Now the arms. When you can rest back in your chair and can pay attention to the arms, the portion of your elbows with the bony structure balanced enough, okay, then your arm calves could come into attention. So you're not going to, I'm going to now take care of the arm calves because that's a development that happened over time since your birth. So you need to pay attention to the main frame, the head, neck, trunk, the rib cage, spine, and pelvis. And then from there, the relationship with the limbs. Because if you're not aware of the main frame, you are not really appreciating where the tension comes from. So your so the basic unit, and then we are paying attention to how the limbs are. If we go the other way, reverse, um, and your relationship of your limbs with your mainframe is not as optimal as it needs to be, then your mainframe goes through anxieties, yeah, and existential angst. So, basic unit, the mainframe, and then paying attention to limbs. So that is more integration because it's our extremities by which we do our activities of daily living, but it is our limbs. Otherwise, you're functioning like, yeah, my arms, it, and then it's like it's peripherals or like optionals. Yeah, yes, we have the body and functioning by its own methods. But then there is this class I attended by Miss Nayana, and it was called I Am classes. Okay, and in that she would say, "Move." It's a kind of a movement-based practice, and there she would say, "Lead with your head. Stand in one place and just turn your head in any one direction and go along the direction that your head wants to go or your head is going. So lead with your head instead of leading with your, say, the center of your pelvis, the center of gravity, or lead with your arms. You move your arms in one direction and then follow along where that arm is going, and then you will see how the biomechanical relationships are there between your arms and the rest of your body. So otherwise, you may be your center of gravity is along the main frame, and your limbs are like peripherals, but you don't quite see how they're all related. So that's also a way by which to see it, to appreciate the tension, the biotensegrity that's there in your body. Um, la Now she's not in India, from what I know. She's in Austria. I don't know if she's moved from there, if she's doing something else, because she's been doing some quite interesting work. So she may be traveling, I don't know, around the world. I don't know. But okay, I have not been keeping in touch as much, but we are there in Facebook. And well, okay. The thing is, nevertheless, the lessons learned from attending several such classes. One is pay attention to, and then I arrived at my own derivations, conclusions, or what needs to be then paid attention to. And I came to Nirbeeja Yoga. So mainframe and then peripherals. Okay. Um, if this is having your arm calves be a little more appreciated, if this is having your arm calves, arm calves come to your attention in a way that you haven't been thinking of them, then we would still be in a better place in maintaining health of arm calves, because it's the approach, the direction from where you maintain your health and how you maintain your health is also a consequence of your approach. Yeah. And it's not just about lifting weights and then, taking care of that part of your body, while the relationship with the rest of the body, with your life, and how there is a fine connection between the internals and externals, and between your meanings and the sounds, and what people say needs to be done or how it needs to be done. So how is truth maintained? How are you digesting the truth of the matter? um, is also how your metabolism is. You have food going into your body, you have information being transmitted to you through different media, but then how you put the bits of information together also makes the health of your life. How is the health of your life, um, and also of your body? So mainframe, and then arms, limbs, and then notice if your arm calves come to your attention. If they don't come to your attention, then your posture may be not as optimal as it needs to be. Yeah. Or your, so pay attention to the mainframe, your chest, in terms of warmth and softness, and in terms of any movement that you notice about your chest, in the front, sides, back. And then bring your attention to your arms and notice how's your arms moving in relationship with your chest. Yeah. So that you notice the natural movement that your arms make in relationship with your chest, which is breathing and alive. So there's a corresponding movement in your arms. And then your forearms are then related at your elbows. That is, if you have forearms, if you have your arms, that is. Nevertheless, um, Kai and Kala, yeah, as in your ability to stand upright and be a humane human with your whole system integrated, as in the little I is like homunculus, the little human, or Ram Lalla, they say, but Ayodhya, there is this deity, but the idea is a homunculus, wherein the whole of you is integrated into the whole of everything that's also you, but also in a manner that you are wholesomizing what there is. Instead of taking away from the whole, you are contributing, adding value such that you are becoming wholesomer. Where you are is also becoming wholesomer. So that's homunculus, but Kai, as in standing upright, little human, I. Um, and then Kala, yeah, as in the primary respiration, secondary respiration, and the basic unit of life. What does that mean? What are the signs of life by which you are a basic unit? Well, if you reduce it all to complex into simple units, what would be the basic unit? Like a is a basic unit of sound. So you are at least alive and have an experience of being alive because you have an alive body. So that way, how do you know you're alive would also be the L, yeah, as in basic unit. And then from here to have a reference of what does life mean, what all does it mean. There could be complexity, including how's your arms related with the chest, and then how's your arm calves related with your upper arms, and then how's your wrist related, palms related with the mainframe. So uh, this sounds a little mechanical, but we are going from the murta to the amurta, yeah, as in formed or known to unknown, yeah, unformed. You can't say unformed, not really gotten our head around, but there are so many things we don't know about, yeah. So unknown, from the known we go to what is not popularly known, so we become more informed, yeah. All right. So university grant commission, committed committee, and then this is I am to make this available to teach. So I am in different stages of making this available. Human resource department in an organization takes comes into existence, yeah, begins to be functional after a lot of developments, such that a human resource department can be afforded by the whole system. That's taken a long time, yeah. So I'm representing Earth.Inc's Human Resource Department because, well, the human body is my specialization or my area of primary interest, and then enlivening life in the multiverse from the body that is human and that we have, and then there's the whole stream of thought lines from there. Alrighty. So on that note, I pause for now, and we will meet in the evening if you're interested. 6:30 to 7, which is when we will pay attention to the same textbook, The Human Body, from a different uh, time space, timeline, in the same day, evening. And then when the physiologies, the several variations, and then appreciate the same human body from what is there to be studied about the arm calves at that point in time. Yeah. All right. Slowly, slowly, you get more familiar. So thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to learn more, I invite you to click on learn.dynamicstillnesses.com, LEARN dot DYNAMICSTILLNESSES.com. So that's when I'm putting up content related with all of this human resource department, and several things are just developing. Rome was not built in a day. Neither was Earth formed overnight. So there's going to be some time. Yeah, internet also one code at a time, and then how computers talk, and then several the language and so many details. So now we have the benefit of the internet. Similarly, this department is just showing up, slowly, slowly developing. Those who sign up already will have, there's a membership option, 1,000 rupees per month, and then what becomes available from the paid option is different from what cannot be seen from the unpaid version. So if you're committed, dedicated, learning, being the first amongst the ones who learn, then you have the benefits of well, what I'm developing already. So there's some things already up there, and well, paid members get to see what it's like you buy a movie ticket. Those who see the movie inside the theater, yeah, is having a different experience, set of information than those who may look at the theater. Yeah, there are things happening inside, but until you buy the ticket uh, for a show, so there is a theater. You can go inside the theater, but to watch the show, you would have to pay it. Yeah, these are all episodes, small little things. So several details. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day.